If you want to take advantage of the full potential of Linux, you need to learn how to use the command line. So I'm going to be making a series of videos where I show the basics of command line usage in Linux. So if you want to learn how to use the command line, make sure to subscribe so that you can see when I post new videos. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to manage directories, because that's one of the first things that you need to do. When you are using the command line, you need to move into directories, move outside of directories, or create new directories, create files inside directories, and things like that. Right now, I can type pwd, and that is going to print the current working directory. That's where I'm currently located, and in this case, I'm at the root directory. So that's very basic. You always need to know where you are. So pwd is going to print the working directory. Now if I type ls, that's going to list the contents of the directory, but at this moment there is nothing inside the root directory, so it's not outputting anything. Let's touch a file. Touch is going to create a file if it doesn't exist, and if it exists, it's going to update the time when it was modified. So let's just see that in action. So I just did touch file.txt. If I now do ls again, I see the file that I just created. Now if you add the L option to the ls command, that's going to show you the files in this format that has a lot of information that you can use. First is the file permissions, then it's going to tell you the owner of the file and the group of the file. Then it's going to give you the size, and then it's the date when the file was modified, and then it tells you the file name. So this is saying that the file was modified at 147. Now let's try to touch the same file again and list the files again inside this directory. And now you can see that the date has been updated, and now it says 148, because that's what touch does. If the file that you pass to the touch command doesn't exist, it's going to create it. But if it does exist, then it's going to modify the modification date of the file. Something else that you can do is you can create new directories inside the directory that you're currently working on. For example, if I do mkdir directory, and now I list the contents of the root directory again, I now see that there is a directory and there is a file. Now in my console, it puts directory names in purple and regular file names in white. This might be different in your console. This is just the way that the console is set up on my end. So don't worry if you see different colors or if you don't see any colors at all. It should still be working the same. This is a directory and this is a regular file. Now let's remove a file from the directory that we're currently working on. And to do that, I just need to call the rm command and then pass the name of the file that I want to remove. In this case, I'm going to remove file.txt. And now if I list the contents of the directory, now file is gone and I only have directory. If I wanted to do the same for directory, I would get an error. rm cannot remove directory, it is a directory. To remove directories, you need to pass the r option to the rm command. So I'm going to do rm-r and then the name of the directory that I want to remove. And if I list the contents of the directory again, now it's empty, because I've removed the file and I also removed the directory. Now what if I want to create 3 different directories inside the current root directory? So I can just call mkdir a, b, c, and this is going to create 3 different directories. And here we have them, a, b, and c. I'm going to clear the screen just so that I have more space available and you don't have to be looking all the way down at the video. So I know that's a little bit uncomfortable sometimes. So let's list the contents of the directory again. So we have A, B, and C. But what if I wanted to create the structure of a directory? So for example, if I wanted to, say, have my photos, and then inside photos I want to have a travels directory where I'm going to put all the photos from my travels, and then inside travels I want to put I don't know, 2024, because I want to put all the photos that I take on my travels that I do on 2024. And then finally, let's say I go to Japan and this is the route that I want to have. Not the route, but rather the structure of the directories. So if I want to do that, all I have to do is pass to mkdir the p option. And the p option is going to tell mkdir to create all the parents of my directory, which in this case is Japan. If the parents of this directory do not exist, so it's going to create this directory and then this one and this one as well. Now I can do ls, and now you can see I have A, B, C, and then I have photos. And then inside photos, I should have travels 2024 and then Japan. So let's try that. I can pass photos to ls, and that's going to list the contents of the photos directory. And as you can see, I have travels. Now let's do photos, travels, and now we have 2024. And then if I list the contents of the 2024 directory, I have Japan. And of course in Japan I have nothing at the moment, so it's empty. Now I'm going to remove the AVC directories because I don't need them anymore. I can pass A, B, and C, but I need to pass the R option, and then I can pass different directories that I want to remove and just separate them with a space, and RM is going to remove them all. So let's list the contents of the directory again, and now we only have photos because we removed A, B, and C. And then finally, I'm just going to show you a very simple way to add content to a file. This is probably not the way you're going to add content to a file ever, but in future videos we're going to be using this to send output of commands to different files to create logs or to save some type of output into a file. So I'm going to use the echo command, and echo simply prints something that you pass to it. So for example, if I echo hello, it's just going to print hello. Now I can do what's called an output redirection, and then instead of having echo print hello on the screen, I can send this output to a file, and that's going to be written in that file. So let's try it. Echo hello, and then to redirect the output I'm going to use the greater than sign, and then I'm going to put the name of the file, file.txt. Now if we list the contents of the directory, you can see that a new file has been created, and then I can use the cat command to print the contents of this file. And now you see that hello was sent to the file.txt file using this character, which does the redirection from the echo command to the file.txt file. So this is a very basic lesson. But actually, before we finish this video, let me show you how to move into a directory. So let's say I want to move into the photos directory. I would use the cd command and then pass the name of the directory that I want to move to. And now if I do pwd, you can see that I'm inside root and photos. I can list the contents of the photos directory, and I have travels, and I can move inside the travels directory just by passing travels to the cd command. I'm going to clear the screen now, and let's list the contents of the directory, and I have 2024. Now if I want to go up a directory, I can just do cd // and that's going to move me up one directory. So I'm now inside the photos directory, and if I do that again, I am now at the root directory. Now say I want to move two directories down, I can just do cd photos travels, and now you can see I'm inside the photos travels directory. If I wanted to go back to the previous directory where I was before, I can just put cd and then a minus sign and then enter, and that's going to move me back to the directory where I was previously. Now this is just going to take you back and forth between the two previous directories. It's not going to keep like a history of where you've been and move you back in that history. It's just going to, jump you back and forth between directories. So if I do it again, it's going to put me at the travels directory, and then if I do it again, it's going to put me back at the root directory. And then one last time, and I'm back at the travels directory. So it's basically just going to be jumping back and forth between two directories. And I think for now that's enough. You have learn a few basic commands to move around in the console. And at this point, you can start practicing moving around, creating directories, creating new files, putting content inside files, displaying the contents of files, and things like that. Now, just to kind of get your curiosity going on, say you wanted to have photos, and then we have travels, and then we have 2024. But what if you also wanted to have photos, and then family, and then 2024, and photos, work, and 2024? What if you wanted to create these directories all with one single command? How could you do that? So it's something for you to investigate, and don't worry if you don't want to do it or if you can't find the answer. On the next video, I'm going to show you how to do it. So stay tuned and see you the next time.